spending thousands of dollars on wild ginseng, premium donkey hide gelatin, or cordyceps, only to find yourself exhausted, breaking out in acne, suffering from insomnia, and constipated for 3 days straight? Congratulations! Your body is being systematically poisoned by your own good intentions. Since your attention span is likely under 30 seconds, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm putting the hardcore scientific evidence right on the table first. Why do you get weaker the more supplements, YO, you take? Research on gut microbiota published in a subsidiary of the top academic journal Cell has completely exposed the mechanism. The data clearly shows that when a person's intestinal mucosa is in a state of chronic inflammation, or when the gut flora is imbalanced, which is what traditional Chinese medicine calls spleen and stomach deficiency, any high concentration, large molecule nutrients you pour in will not be converted into energy. Instead, they leak through the damaged intestinal barrier known as leaky gut syndrome, enter the bloodstream, and are identified by your immune system as foreign antigens. IMMEDIATELY. Your immune system launches a violent attack, triggering a systemic acute inflammatory response. How does this manifest in you? Oral ulcers, explosive acne, swollen gums, and nosebleeds. Western medicine calls this an acute histamine reaction and a cytokine storm. Our ancestors summarized this in 4 words 2,000 years ago: inability to absorb supplements. You think you're nourishing yourself, but you're actually suffocating your immune system. TCM saw through the underlying logic of gut motility long ago, but unfortunately, most people today just don't get it. LETS. Look at the reality of modern urbanites. In the office buildings of Shanghai, workers earning $20,000 a month have desks covered in more pill bottles than my grandmother's medicine cabinet. Deep sea fish oil from Australia, multivitamin complexes from the US, Korean red, ginseng liquid come every shopping festival. They can't wait to dump months of salary into wellness. The result? I have a real case nearby. A century-year-old executive at a big tech firm who worked overtime every night and felt his body was hollowed out, what TCM calls a deficiency of qi and blood. He went out and bought thousands of dollars worth of top-grade deer antler and wild astragalus to make soup every day. Less than a week later, he had a massive nosebleed in the middle of the night. His stomach was bloated like a balloon, and an ER visit revealed severe gastrointestinal stasis and skyrocketing blood pressure. This is the most absurd phenomenon today: a poor man's body with a rich man's disease. Your body is clearly a broken-down car with an unmaintained engine, aging spark plugs, and a clogged exhaust pipe, yet you insist on filling it with top-tier aviation fuel. The result isn't that you run faster, it's that the engine explodes on the spot. Why does this happen? Because you have a thick wall of cognitive bias in your head. You've been brainwashed by Western linear thinking. The logic of Western nutrition is addition. If you lack iron, take iron. If you lack calcium, take calcium. If you lack protein, take protein. This logic worked perfectly in an era of extreme material scarcity when people couldn't even get enough to eat. But this is 2026. This is an era of nutritional excess and metabolic syndrome. You don't lack nutrition, you lack the ability to process, eat. Many people hear TCM mention spleen deficiency and think it's a mystical concept, assuming TCM doesn't understand anatomy. Today, let's translate spleen deficiency using modern biophysics and gastrointestinal motility. The human gut is known as the second brain, covered in over 8 million neurons, the enteric nervous system. This system is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. When you face KPIs, mortgages, and pressure from your boss every day, your sympathetic nervous system is permanently in a high-tension fight-or-flight mode. Here is the hardcore data. In a state of sympathetic excitation, blood flow to your digestive tract drops instantly by 30% to 50%. The secretion of stomach acid and digestive enzymes falls off a cliff, and intestinal peristalsis almost stops. This is what modern medicine calls functional dyspepsia, and what TCM calls wood overacting on earth. Your anxiety and stress, or liver stagnation, directly cripples your digestive engine, your spleen, and stomach. With the engine stalled, what is that donkey hide gelatin you're eating? It's highly dense animal collagen, a large molecule substance. Without enough biological enzymes to break it down, these sticky proteins stay in your gut, becoming a five-star feast for putrefactive bacteria. Bad bacteria multiply rapidly, fermenting and producing gas, which explains why you bloat like a drum and pass foul gas after taking supplements. The expensive supplements you bought ended up feeding the harmful bacteria in your gut. TCM says the spleen is the foundation of acquired constitution and the source of qi and blood transformation. If you don't fix this engine first, if you don't repair the intestinal barrier, the gold you eat will come out as poison. ITS, not that TCM isn't scientific, it's that your resolution for understanding life systems is still at a kindergarten level. So facing the inability to absorb supplements, what is the ultimate solution offered by TCM? 2 words: CLEAR first, nourish later. In fact, in many cases, clearing is a form of nourishing. This touches upon a high-dimensional wisdom in TCM, aligning with the frequency of nature and time. The biggest problem for modern people is that their life rhythm has completely detached from the Earth's biological clock. At midnight, when intestinal mucosal cells should be performing DNA self-repair and clearing metabolic waste, you insist on a meal of spicy crawfish and ice-cold beer. This doesn't just freeze your gut, it violently disrupts the biological clock of cellular repair. Regulating qi and strengthening the spleen in TCM is actually a form of high-level ecological restoration. When you are weak to the point of collapse, an experienced TCM doctor will never prescribe ginseng or deer antler. Instead, what will they give you? Dried tangerine peel, poria cocos, Chinese yam, and sprouted grains. Why these seemingly cheap things? Modern pharmacology has already provided the evidence. For example, the flavonoids in dried tangerine peel enter the gut not to provide high calories, but to act as scavengers and pacemakers. They gently stimulate intestinal smooth muscle, promoting gastric motility while inhibiting the growth of harmful bacteria. AND, the polysaccharides in PORIA, have been proven to effectively repair damaged intestinal mucosal barriers and reduce intestinal permeability. ITS like managing a polluted, clogged river. The Western logic is to pour nutrient solution direct into the river, hoping to raise big fish. The TCM logic is to first clear the silt-resolving phlegm and dampness, then unblock the water flow, regulating qi, and finally repair the riverbanks, strengthening the spleen and stomach. Once the ecological environment is restored and the water is clear, the fish will naturally thrive. So, how do you actually absorb nourishment? I have a piece of advice for everyone who feels exhausted and is constantly thinking about what supplements to take. Stop the expensive IQ taxes in your hands. What you need right now isn't addition but subtraction. Your gut is already exhausted and on strike. It doesn't need more high-grade protein to crush it. Try the TCM advocated method of nourishing with rice congee. For 3 consecutive days, eat nothing greasy, spicy, cold, or high protein. Just drink soft, well-cooked white rice porridge. THA, thick layer of rice oil on top, is the best mucosal repair agent nature has given us. Give your digestive system a total vacation and let your sympathetic nervous system rest. When you start to feel genuinely hungry, when you have a clean sense of hunger, when your stools are formed, and that thick, sticky white coating on your tongue, the dampness fades away, IT means your stomach qi has recovered and the engine has restarted. Only then can you take truly valuable supplements, and your body will be able to absorb the nutrients like a sponge, transforming them into the qi and blood you truly need. In this ERA of material excess, antibiotic abuse, and chronic inflammation buried like a time bomb in everyone's body, the TCM model of dynamic medicine, emphasizing ecological balance and the flow of energy, is absolutely the final sanctuary for humanity. When you can't absorb supplements, the fault is never with the medicine. It's with your arrogant and ignorant way of feeding yourself. Stop treating your gut like a heartless trash can. Respect your body and align with the rhythms of nature. This is the highest form of wellness in the world and the best free recipe for long life.